to Kristo wenendo kuendage yanazana tukuza Yesu nomusaikwe.
My name is bountiful. I'm the pastor of Paul Heaven Christian Center, which is right where you are seeing me here. I came to Mbala about 10 years ago, I and my wife, on the leading of the Lord. God had spoken to me years back and told me to move north of my country, to follow the Nile, go to Sudan, go to Egypt, and take the gospel of Jesus Christ to the people that have not yet been reached. And so while I was preparing for that, I was in England at that time, and he said to me, Okumu, go and build me Paul Heaven in Bali. And at first I didn't understand it because I didn't know the word Paul, I didn't know the word haven. And so I went to the dictionary and found out the meaning of the word haven. And then I went into the Bible and found out the word Paul. And I realized that the Lord was telling me to build a place of rest, a place where his people would come from, harassed from wherever they've been, and find rest in Jesus Christ. And so I came back to Uganda, picked up my wife, and we came to this town. We came to this town in April 1993. We started a home fellowship just a little bit, a few meters away from here. And my family, I remember we had like jerry cans for drums, and my family, just my family with me. And the next day we began to do door-to-door, visiting homes, knocking doors, and some people got born again, they joined us. And the church slowly began to grow up to today. One of our vision is to make this place, Paul Heaven, a sending base, an evangelistic base, because my calling is basically to do evangelism, to plant churches, bring people to Christ in areas where they've not had the gospel. But then we needed a base for this. And so Paul Heaven, apart from being a local congregation, is also going to be a training center for Christians into ministry. So right back in '94, we asked God where he wanted us to build a church in this town. And the Lord led us to this area. At that time, it was just bush. It used to be a den of thieves. Like just over the other side, we have an industrial area. This place, Bali, basically thrives on production of cereal and grain. So all the husks were brought and heaped around here and were burned. So you had fire going on all the time. And the thieves used to stay here. They used to have roasts every time. I mean, they're just roasting the fire. And so when the Lord said we come here, it was a bit difficult. But then we went ahead, talked to the council, the municipal council, surveyed the area, and then something happened because of bureaucracy here and corruption. We lost the piece of land to some other people. And for about 6 years, we kept moving from one plot to another, just renting and having a shack like what we have here for a fellowship. And about 5 years ago, the person that had been allocated this first plot approached us, and so the church, the congregation began to buy it back. And then just as we finished with that, the person that had taken the other plot also approached us, and the church began to pay for that as well. And so we had two plots together, and we felt it was time to build a church. And so we have drawn up a plan. We launched the building project last year. Our local congregation does 6 months pledges, faith pledge. So we make pledges that we pay over 6 months, collect the money, and start the building. So we did the groundbreaking in September last year, and we didn't start construction until around December last year. That's when we did the excavation, and we stopped a little bit at the end of December because we didn't have the funds. We are going to resume Monday again. This building is going to be multi-purpose. It's going to have a seating capacity. The auditorium is going to have a seating capacity of over 2,000 people. Originally it was going to be 2,000, and then we remodified it with a balcony and gallery up. so that it can now seat over 2,000 people. On the same building, we will have, right here where I'm standing, we'll have a kitchen, we'll have a cafeteria, we'll have a lobby here, and then toilets, and then above me, we will have all the offices of the ministry and the local church. And so what we're doing is praying that people all over the world will be touched by God Himself to come and support this building project. This is totally a faith venture. We're just an independent Christian organization. We do not report or rely on any other person to support us. So we're not worried about that, because when God sent me, He said He would bring people to help us build the work. So this is like my it's like my step of obedience to say, here is the vision, we are doing what God has told us to do, and if somewhere out there in the world you get to know about this project and the Lord moves your heart, then you can write to us, communicate to us, and let us know if you're going to support us in any way. This whole project is going to cost, originally we estimated it to cost 300 million Ugandan shillings, which is about $150,000. The cost has moved up to about $200,000, and we just take a step at a time. When $1 comes in, 1 shilling comes in, we do what we can. We do not have a stack of money anywhere. So every time you look at us, we need the money, we need the materials to start building, to continue the building. The place where we're building this church is waterlogged, so we have a lot of water here, so that's why we have these big ditches. We're going to make foot, what they call strip foundations. So you have like a slab underneath, and then metal bars coming out, and build columns, and then like we're going to have to knit that structure all around, have ring beams going around, another level ring beams, another level ring beams, and then have the roof, and then build it round. So at the moment, we're in a very critical stage, because if the rains come in, all the work we've done is going to, all the excavation is going to be destroyed, because the holes are going to fall back in. So we want to build up, come off the ground, do the slab, and then start building. At that point, maybe we can go at a slower pace, but right now we need to move faster. Well, as you can see, this is where we began. These holes have already been done. We have put in the blinding at the bottom. We're putting the slab and the concrete footing for the columns. This is where we began, and we got to do all this round throughout the building. We actually have 69 holes of this kind, and each hole takes 5 bags of cement, rolls of steel, high tensile steel, and the networking is done, and then we do the concrete. So we yet have to do more. We've done about 10, if you can see here, and we got to do the other 70, the other 50 something before we are out of danger. Now these columns have to be raised with concrete in them up above the metals, as you see them, are at least 1 meter off the ground. Then we'll be out of danger at the moment.